For many people recovering from a concussion, following plots or complex storylines can be really difficult. You might find yourself falling asleep while reading, or your mind wanders and then you realize that you don't know what's going on, so you have to go back and reread sections, which can be frustrating. And then you've taken something that is supposed to be a fun and distracting pastime and turned it into a source of stress and disappointment. So today I'm going to share with you 9 series that I really enjoyed. They've got interesting and engaging storylines, but each book in the series has basically the same characters, and each installment of these series follows a pattern, so that if you lose your place, if you miss a chapter because you fell asleep, you're going to be okay, because you know how the author writes the character and how the character behaves, and you're going to be able to anticipate what's going on. It'll drain you less cognitively and still offer a distraction and an opportunity to get involved in a story. Welcome back to the Concussion Crew. My name is Larissa and I have a brain injury, but I am not a doctor, and this is your medical disclaimer. If your family doctor, whoever's overseeing your brain injury recovery, if they have told you not to read or listen to audiobooks right now, then you're going to need to take a pause, friend. Listen to this episode and plan out what you're going to listen to or read when you are able to again. So I've grouped them into 3 separate groups, plus I've got a bonus 10th one that didn't fit into any of these three genres, 3 categories. And the first set of books that I'd like to talk about are action or thriller books. Shout out to my mom. Thank you for recommending David Baldacci's Memory Man series. And this series follows the journeys of Amos, who is a detective with practically perfect memory. And this helps him with his cases, this hinders him in some ways in his personal life, and I really enjoyed it. I found that David Baldacci's writing is really good and the stories are engaging, even though they followed kind of a rhythm, and you know the characters and you know what Amos is like and what his personality is like. You fall into the rhythm, but it was still interesting to read. The next series that I recommend is the Rockton series. The first book in that series is called City of the Lost. It's about a detective also. Her name is Casey, and she ends up needing to flee her city, and she finds this remote community that takes in people who are in need of sanctuary. So abused wives, for example, or whistleblowers, that sort of thing. And things happen in the community and she has to use her detecting skills. It's a well-written series. I find Casey very likable, very realistic, and it's nice to see a strong female protagonist. This one also has a bit of romance in it, but it's not a romance book. It is adventure thriller. And then the third series in this genre is from my dad. Awesome recommendation, The Oregon Files by Clive Cussler. And I found that Clive Cussler has a few different series and they're all very similar. They're well written but very rhythmic, and they follow kind of a pattern. So if you find that you're liking The Oregon Files, you can transition into some of his other series. The second genre of books are historical mystery, and they are more fluffy than the first set of books. The first set were far more drama slash thrillers, and these ones are a little bit more fluffy. All three of them are set in the 1800s. All three of them feature female lead characters, and they all solve crimes and go on adventures, but the three leads are very different in their personalities. So it's interesting to see how they deal with the confines of being a female detective or adventurer or whatever you want to call them in the 1800s. Veronica Speedwell is a lepidopterist. She likes to travel around the world on her own and goes on adventures, and she really bucks the norms. So she is very aggressive, jumping into situations, and is very go, go, go. Then there's Cleopatra Fox, who is also very go, 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 but more respectful of the people in her community and their values and beliefs. So she is determined to stand up for herself and participate in the solving of these crimes, but not to the detriment of her family's reputation. The Glass Library is the third set of books in this genre, and I found the protagonist Sylvia Ash to be very timid. She does participate in solving crimes, and she is very proactive, but she's also timid, and you really get a sense of what women were like in that era, because she is not pushy or aggressive or, oh, I want to be involved. She waits for the men to invite her along, and there are characters in her world that point out that she should be involved in solving this crime because, you know, the guy accosted her. So if she wants to be involved, maybe invite her. The third set of books, hear me out, don't jump ahead, are technically middle school and young adult books, but they are not childish, which is what I thought when they were recommended to me. I had a librarian tell me to give them a go, and I thought, I'm a grown-up. I don't need children's books. But they're well written. They're not the same as the children's books that I had when I was young, back in the day. Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen, is loosely based on Agatha Christie, and her sidekick is based on Hercule Poirot. So if you enjoyed Agatha Christie, but you're looking for mysteries that are not gory, that are not too involved, that are not too long, I recommend the Aggie Morton series. If you enjoy the Aggie Morton series, it's only 3 or 4 books long, I'm not sure which. I recommend the Daisy Wells and Hazel Wong series, which again are a duo who are solving crimes. They're younger, and the series follow a flow, and you can really get into the rhythm, and it is not cognitively taxing. If you are looking for something that's a little more modern, the Mr. Lemoncello's library series is fun. It's about a group of kids who win a contest and are locked in a library overnight, and they have to solve all these different puzzles to win the prize. And this is a series that is still evolving, but it's quite good. And last but not least, Janet Ivanovich. Her Stephanie Plum series is delightful. I really enjoy it. Once you read the first 2, you know what the rest are going to be like. They're very, very similar. They're funny. She is a bounty hunter who is not very good at her job and gets into issues as she goes about her daily business. And if you're looking for something that is fun, funny, light, and very, very structured, very repetitive, I would recommend the Stephanie Plum books. Those are a few of the series that I found really helped me. They offered me a distraction after my concussion, but even if I drifted off, even if I lost my place, it wasn't that hard to get back into because each of the books seemed to follow a bit of a pattern and a rhythm. The familiarity of the characters and the plot patterns make it really easy to dive back into and offer a stress-free reading opportunity. I would love to hear from you what you're reading, whether it's a series that you found really helped you to distract you during your recovery time, or even standalone books. I hope you'll share them in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe if this content was valuable to you, or recommend it to a friend if you think that they might enjoy it. Happy reading, and please remember that you are not alone in your concussion.